for elections here at Clock TV's Poll Watch. Although we've experienced some peaceful elections at some polling stations, there have been some incidents, security incidents, and I am sure things are calm now. We'll get our reporters and our correspondents who are on the grounds currently are sorting and counting, and some declarations will be made shortly at some polling stations. But I have with me here at the studios Randolph Ofifawari to speak to me a bit before we get our correspondent.
A lot of pressure involved. In fact, as a new TV where this is our maiden edition,
exactly.
In fact, it involves a lot. But then I think the entire process has been so wonderful, and I have enjoyed the process and everything.
Okay. So we observed some incidents at Obuasi where there were some security men in uniform, military men, who the NDC communication person was preventing them from getting to the polling stations. I think so far, but before that, I've been alerted that the regional correspondent is on in the person of Mariam Abdul Razak. Hello, Miriam.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, how is the northern region?
Northern region is good.
Okay, so what's
right now? I'm Tamale South constituency.
Okay. Which polling station?
Dungukuko Central Mosque Block B. Right now, voting has ended and it started counting.
Okay. Have they've started counting? Oh, sorry, we lost that. We'll get back to her shortly for her to give us updates with what is going on in the northern region. So, Randolph, I was speaking about security issues which have been raised so far in some polling stations in Ghana, and I think people have trusted the process so far, but these issues have come up, and I think we need to address this. It was said that military men are not supposed to be at the polling stations, but we saw videos of some military men in uniform who were there. I think you should speak a bit to it, then we'll get some figures across.
All right, so thank you once again. I must, in a way, commend the entire process. We haven't done so bad. I had the opportunity going around to get some kind of experience. I actually went to a number of places in terms of Ododo constituency, Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma West constituency, and then we have gone through certain stages that we can appreciate some development or new stuff that we are doing as a people, where most of the places that I visited with the team, they were all at a very peaceful stage, okay, where there wasn't any chaos. All security is very cool. You see that the security men and even the polling agents and the EC officers, some were just having a chit-chat. It means to some extent people understand that election is just a kind of an idea that you have to make a choice to maybe let's say express, but then to the extent that people will also have confrontation with security officers, it's something we must all condemn as a country. We should not be able to tolerate all these things, because we have grown in our election in terms of our democracy, and to have security personnel having confrontation with a civilian, and civilians also having that ego to say that we are facing security in terms of military who are with guns. It is something we must condemn. I might to condemn directly that probably against one party or not. But then the issue is that irrespective of the issues we have heard, that there was a security man who went to that space, and then a civilian who also questioned their why their reason for being there, to the extent that they were, there was some kind of confrontation, yes, and physical engagement. It is unacceptable. And with it, yes, there was, I'm surprised there's military, there must be a serious delve into it. The military should also go into it. There must be some investigation that those who were asked, well, let me even put it this way, the security personnel, the military, who went there, what sent them there? Okay. And if they went there, probably a public space, even though there were some regulations that, yes, military personnel are not supposed to get involved in the election. But the whole thing is, were they directly involved in the situation or the election? Or probably, it might be that people, some of them went there probably that, to cast their vote. Well, sometimes, you go there, you may be in the special voting, but you go there and then your name isn't in. But then, if the military caused no harm before they were confronted where it came that physical, we must condemn those who caused that. But then, if you are also a civilian, looking at the videos, viral videos, whatever went on is something we don't need to tolerate in our democracy. Okay. It is something we should all condemn. And the security people, or let me say, IGP must investigation act, because there is a joint force who is actually manning this very election, which comes with all militaries, all the military and security agencies. Those who are culpable in this regard must be dealt with. We should not entertain brutalities in 21st century, and in 2024. This is unacceptable, and it is something we must deal with as a in all, with my few experience, apart from these few hotspots that has raised this kind of bad news, I think in totality, I have been following this whole process, and I think we must commend ourselves as a people, yes, in all these processes.
Exactly. So the EC promised us an update, and so far they've given us 3 press briefings, which I think is very good, and we have to commend the EC, the Electoral Commission, for doing that.
That's true.
Do you side with me?
Of course. You see, EC's mandate is basically to organize. The Constitution has empowered the EC to organize elections, to be the election body, to make sure the country have presidents, ministers, and then how do I call it? Public servants. Okay. Or let me say, yes, public servant. And so their mandate to organize election is very pivotal in our Constitution. Okay. And it is for them to, in fact, be able to give us transparency, which is a core mandate of the EC, where they must be very transparent, free, fair. At least some margin of error will come in as a human organization. But so far, information, I've always said, is very vital. If you deprive people of information, they now gather all issues and then pull out false information. But then the more you give out or channel information out, it will be the availability of false information will be very limited, because now the people know, they are informed, and people now make judgment about whether you are doing right or not. So far as, and I think this is the first time in the history of the country that EC, there is election in Ghana, and EC has been able to give us 3 good how do I call it, press conferences, and it is very good. It opens door for transparency, and they don't do it in isolation. EC does it with CODEO, and all these international bodies, including the party officers. Let me say the IPAC, and I think it's commendable. Party agents have also been involved. It means there's a direct collaboration.
Does Equiapem North correspondence in the person of Nana Bafrim through to her?
Right.
Then we'll come back to our discussions. Hello, Nanaba.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
How is Equiapem?
Equiapem was excited. Others are not too excited by all its people.
Why that mixed feeling?
You know, there's two leading political parties.
Yeah.
So those who were supporting the one with the highest votes, they are definitely happy, and those who didn't get the votes are not happy.
So I see you have some figures in there. Can you just quickly?
Okay, so polling station demonstration primary in Penyasi Ekropon. Total vote cast 157.
Okay.
Presidential NPP 111. NDC 44. Independent 1. Rejected 1. Parliamentary NPP 134. NDC 22. Rejected 1. For the purpose of time, so I'm just going to focus on the two main political parties, because a lot of the independent candidates and the other parties, they had 0-0.
All right, that's fine.
So I'm
Please
going
continue.
to the second polling station,
Okay.
which is registration primary in Penyasi Ekropon 2. The presidential, we have NPP 71, 46. For the primary, we have, the parliamentary, NPP 92, NDC 30, total vote cast 122. And then the last police station results I have, demonstration JSS in Penyasi Ekropon, presidential, NPP 112, NPP 58, rejected 3, total vote cast 179. And for the parliamentary, NPP 139, NPP 39, rejected 2. So from the report I have, the NPP have majority votes, and then with the backward between Same Awu, which is on the ticket of NPP, and John Evans on the ticket of NPP.
Okay. That's all you have now?
Yes, please.
All right, all right. But how is the atmosphere? As you said earlier, the people are some jubilating and some sad.
Of course, like I said earlier, those who have the majority vote, the MPP, based on the results I have, they are rejoicing. Though we are yet to get the official results announced by the EC, but the provisional result that I have, it shows MPP has the majority vote in this voting census.
But does this reflect the voting pattern in the Equiapem North?
Yes, the Equiapem North, yeah, it has always been MPP strong.
Okay. All right, all right. Thank you so much for that update.
You will.
Okay. So that was our correspondent from the Equiapem North in the person of Nana Bafrimpoma, speaking to us about some data from the polling station in Equiapem North. So results have started coming.
Yes.
And what we see here from between the NPP and the NDC looks like it's a clear declaration. Yeah, the difference is much. Yeah, so you can see the Kwiapem North people are for the NPP.
Yes, so thank you. I think it is very clear, and you can see by the Kwiapem North constituency is actually an NPP seat, and for so many years, I mean, I'm not sure as Fourth Republic, NDC has actually taken the seat before. It's a pure NPP seat, and in fact, the person who is contesting, it's difficult to lose that election because that is Honorable Sami Uku, the former NPP national organizer. He has been the national youth organizer for NPP. He has been the youth the organizer for NPP, okay. Very influential, and currently he is actually the CEO for the lottery authority.
Okay, Sami Uku.
Yes, Sami Uku.
Because
so
the figures here, when you check the NPP figure, is 111 for the first polling station.
Yes.
Then NDC had 44.
Yes. So the gap is very wide.
It's very wide.
Because, in fact, Sami Uku holds so much influence. Actually, his first time contesting in that.
That's interesting.
Yes. Before it was Amadou Kua, Honorable Amadou Kua, who was actually in that constituency, and in fact, there were a lot of hitches where. Immediately, Honorable Sami Uku came. In fact, it was very clear that she couldn't stand that, in fact, the candidacy there. So she moved out of the place into another constituency. And so now, Honorable, let me say, Sami Uku, as we all know, is someone who has very youthful exuberance, or let me say, youthful nature. He mostly resonates with the young people, and for constituency like that place, where in fact they call it Ufie, in fact that is the Kwiapem word. So when you go there, in fact his name is all over, and I believe his influence has affected so well because I mean, for reports that I know, a lot of youth under him is, I mean, since he went there, are getting jobs, and it equally counts. People are getting scholarships, and he's impacting so many homes there. So obviously, it is very difficult to, in fact, win a contest against such, I mean, a like that. But let's see. This is just the matter of first in the many electoral areas, yes, and then polling stations. Let us see maybe successive or other results that will come. Let's see that maybe it may reflect his strength in that constituency will be a reflectant on the others. And let's
so
see.
It's for, if it's for the NPP, that means it doesn't matter who becomes the presidential candidate or the parliamentary candidate, they will still vote for the NPP no matter what.
You see, yes, the other time I was saying in the morning show that in the political system we are running as a country, sometimes tradition matters, and for these political parties to get root, it's with tradition and history. And history, when the people actually get used to a particular regime, or they get some benefit from a particular regime, it actually affects the vote they always give them loyalty. And so what the parties normally do is that they get a suitable candidate, and then that suitable candidate, if they are okay with him as a party, in fact, when it gets to the main elections, obviously, the possibility they're going to get that loyalty from the people is high. And coming to a Kwiapem constituency, just like other traditional places, you know, Eastern region is one of the Kwiapem constituency. Kwiapem North is actually part of the Eastern region constituencies. It's actually one of the constituencies in the Eastern region. Okay. If you look at Eastern region, it's one of the Eastern region is one of the strongholds of the NPP. Okay. Yes, it's one of the strongholds. If you realize successive elections, anytime NPP will win elections, it is them have actually won Ashanti region and Eastern region. So if you look at when President Kufuor came to power, the regions that gave them the power was Eastern region. Okay. Well, they give you the numbers. Just like when you go to the NDC, there are some traditional areas where they are going to give you that loyalty vote. So Eastern region is also part of the loyalty vote that NPP normally rely on. So if you look at even the trend with regards to how their campaign went, both parties, some were very strategic in pushing up votes that will give them that leverage in their strongholds.
Okay.
So that at least if they lose some vote in other places, they can get a replacement. So this is not surprising, because even the last elections, in the last elections, Nanado won the presidency, or let me say NPP won the presidency with 2 regions. Wow. Meanwhile, NDC won lost with 7 regions, which means this loyalty is very critical for both parties. So NPP winning the Eastern region, you see, as time goes, something will change this time. If not so, it will be difficult to say NDC has taken over the Ashanti region or the Eastern region. They might appreciate with some votes, but then the totality of the vote definitely will go to NPP unless something will change. But until then, we are here. Let's see how it goes.
All right, so this is Poll Watch, and we are getting some figures. The one that came just now is from the Equiapem North constituency in the Eastern region. We want to take a quick break. When we come back, we have more figures.
Abedimpo, we go fake that. It is in the bra, a pre-free. Another brilliant classic. People, time is here. Get ready to cast the vote. How do you make me go? Ghana people, time is here. Get ready to cast the vote. How do you make me go? Hey, about to run into Oko to Aba, dancing in Ubuku. Hey, about to run into Oko to Aba, to me in Ubuku. Wherever Ghana, election time, show Africa, say, you're still the leader. When it comes to peace, you're still the only keys. So when you go down on your knees, don't forget to Ghana. About to run, Oko to Aba, dancing in Ubuku. About to run, Oko to Aba, to me in Ubuku. Them Kofubi Beppel Power, Ama Kasagasa Baba Ghana never. The meeting I have for sister brother, Bachelor Wagin, on the end of what to Waba, Amu Pepe, Ubialu, Ubiopel, on Edom, Jabashana fight the Abba, not to Mugiala Sapa Abba, if he into Mujanana Ada, any time in one bomb party, even on the beat, Betty Biala Sako Wapa, Ubialu Shehino, Nancy True, Bana, Yali Bida, Tiloya, Farmer Teacher, as a Frank and Ghana, Africa. Time is here, get ready to cast your vote. How did it go? Ghana people, time is here, get ready to cast your vote. How did it go? See, about to run, Oko to Aba, dancing in Ubuku. See, about to run, Oko to Aba, to me in Ubuku. From what to Bolivia to Tamale, Nani Kumasi tough down, get close to Tadi Segude, don't go to racing street array. Don't be violent, cast your vote and go home in silence. TV go report everything.
I welcome you back to Poll Watch, and there are some declaration of results from some polling stations. We've had some, but we have on standby Clement Yabankwe to give us more provisional results from other polling stations. Hello, Clement.
Hello, B. Hello, B.
What do you have for us? Please go ahead.
Okay, so B, in the morning we said over 18 million voters are going to cast their vote, and it's going to be done at 40,648 polling stations. And as we speak, we have provisional results from some of the polling stations. But viewers should understand that we have 276, that is parliamentary seats this time around because of the additional of Guan constituency being introduced. And out of that, we have 276 seats. So that is what viewers should take note. So the provisional results, one we have is from Upper Region, and that's the one central constituency, specifically Ahmadiyya Day Nursery polling station. And in terms of presidential, we have NPP gathering 91 votes, GCPP 0, GFP 0, GUM 0, LGP 0, NDP 0, CPP 0, NDC 283 votes, APC 0, Kofi Cranton, independent candidate 0, George Chumberima 0, Nana Kwame Bediako also had 1 vote, and Alan Kojo Manten also had 0 votes. In that very polling station, 4 of the votes was actually spot ballot, and the total valid vote is 375, and total ballots cast is 379. So that is for the provisional result for the Ahmadiyya DA Nursery polling station at West Central. We are going to Odododio constituency. That is especially Manche Court. That is presidential. This one around, I have all the NDC, NPP, and CPP. So let me give you that one. NDC had presidential 114, NPP 74, CPP 1, In terms of parliamentary, NPP had 70, CPP 3, and NDC 115. That is Odododio, Jamestown, Manche, Court Polling Station. That is total vote cast there is 189. Well, let's move to Ayawasu East provisional result. That is Islamic station. Total expected vote is 430. Total turnout is 305. Presidential, Dr. Mahmoud Mahubia, that is NPP had 62. And NDC, John Dramani Mahama, had 241. Nana Kwame Bediako had 1 vote. Rejected ballot is 1. Let's get to Asante Akim North constituency. Going to GCMB polling center 2. GCMB polling center 2. We have, in terms of presidential, NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia had 175. NPP 175. GCPP 0. GFP 0. Christian Kwabena Andrews, that is GUM, also LPG or LPG 0. NDP 0. Let's move to NDC. That is John Dramani Mahama had 65 votes at Asante Akim North constituency, specifically GCMB polling 2. When you go back to in terms of GCMB, the same place, polling center 2 also, that is Agogo. Presidential, NPP had 32 and NDC had 15 independent candidates. That is, when you put all together, it is 197. Let's go to secondary constituency. That is specifically Zion Land and Adiambra 2 polling station. Zion Land, Adiambra 2 polling station. Presidential, NPP 7. That's secondary constituency, NPP 77. NDC 105. New 2. Alan Kojo 1. Registered voters there is 309. And the total vote cast is 185. 185. In terms of parliamentary at the same polling station, PP had 72, NPP 72, NDC had 105. Registered voters in that very polling station is 309, and the voters is 185. That is also at the secondary constituency. Let's come back to Odododio constituency, specifically Gamanda polling station, Odododio constituency. Gamanda police station. Presidential, NDC had 123. Presidential, NDC 123. NPP 1717. Movement for Change 1. Rejected ballot 7. In terms of parliamentary, NPP 20, NDC 123. PPP 1. Rejected 1. Total vote is 293. 293. That is Odododio constituency. Going back to Ejura Secretary Dumase, Ejura Secretary.
All right, Clement, I want to hold you on for now. Let's reflect the figures and we'll get back to you very shortly. So, we can see some skirt and blouse votes in here, especially in the Odododio constituency. People are voting more for the presidential candidate in the case of the NDC, and more for the NPP candidates for the parliamentary results. As you can see, it's skirt and blouse. And we know Odododio or the Greater Accra region is a swing constituency, and it's reflecting in what people are saying. You have something to say?
Okay, so that's very good. In fact, when it comes to Odododio, it's actually a place known to be an NDC seat. For many years, NDC have actually dominated in that enclave because they have given, most of their votes to NDC in successive elections. And even when it comes to the aspect of parliamentary, they have had the NDC a kind of parliamentarians. But then it's for them, in this result, which means the presidential, they gave it to President Mahama, let me say the former president, yes. And then the parliamentary, they give it to
NPP
candidates. NPP candidate. This is very, this is a very serious issue.
Yes.
And then I think maybe NPP is actually doing so much there in terms of parliamentary candidate, because in a constituency, maybe because that's where Manaf is, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So this is where you have two new parliament candidates. Yes. So it looks like they've done away with the old ones, and now we have fresh starters. And it looks like they like the NPP candidates more than the NDC candidates. But when it comes to the presidential, they like the NDC presidential candidate.
I think this is a provisional result.
Yes.
I want to correct something at the Jamestown Manchester.
Okay.
If you heard it right. You see, looking at the provisional results, it aligns. It's like NPP winning presidential for the parliamentary, it aligns. Yeah. Because when you take the Jamestown Manchester, presidential, NDC had 114.
Okay. 114.
Yes, 114 for presidential. When it comes to parliamentary, they had 115.
Yes.
And NPP getting 74. Presidential coming to parliamentary, they had 70 votes.
Yeah.
It aligns. It's like as they choose the president, they also give it to the parliamentary as well.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So that's that.
So it means that it's a traditional area for NDC when it comes to the presidential, but then this is just a polling station.
Yeah.
So with Odododio, I quite remember I had a chance to cover it years ago. That is around 2012. And that place was still Odododio for, I mean, it is known for all its, but then in fact, when we went there, we realized the enclave has changed.
Yes,
and then with the results, I think maybe the NPP candidate, he's a guy. Manaf is a young man.
His opponent is a young guy.
Yes, but Manaf, Manaf is a young guy who actually resonates so much with the youth there.
Yes.
When you go there, you can see.
I spoke to a couple of the residents there, and they were telling me some of the things Manaf them. So it's reflected in the figures.
Yes, because Manaf is a young, very vibrant young man, and I mean, when you go there, he's almost involved in everything, and his impact is felt at so many areas. But then let's see, this is actually for one or two few polling stations, right?
Yes, just two.
So let's see if they are going to go by the tradition of the NDC lane, or probably going maybe change something, because NPP has actually fought for that very parliamentary seat for a very long time.
Exactly.
Very long time. When this
Nilante Banaman and Vandapoy,
of course, he was there. It was difficult because Nilante being a minister during the NDC time, coming back to be a deputy minister in the local government, and then I mean he's a very robust person that you easily can overturn. But then he had dominance there. This time he is not to contest and someone else. Probably the energy, but let's see. This is just the beginning of the polls. Let's see how it will turn out.
All right. So one of the issues I've observed results is the voter turnout. Yes. I realize people didn't come out so much in their numbers to vote this particular time. I don't know whether this would result in a possible runoff, or we are going to get a clear 50+1%.
In fact, let me say this. According to Codeo, this afternoon, they actually went out, they had a press conference, and they said they had covered 90% of polling stations, and that they have covered of the election had almost 5. I mean, there are some statistics which maybe would have to come back later, and they mentioned certain things. But then when we also went out in terms of went to the polling station and various constituencies, you realize that as at even 2-3 o'clock, the numbers there that had voted, sometimes it's almost 50% of the voter turnout. So I actually asked many officers that is that a trend in those areas? I don't know, because I wasn't there when they closed during the exit poll.
Probably then, more people might have come out.
Ghanaians like
last
minute stuff. But then what I can say is, far at the numbers we have, I pray that it changes a bit. But then we are going to look at also, I mean, when this results comes, let us compare the total people on the ballot, including and then do the deduction and see if it has appreciated or probably within the range or middle in terms of the 50% we witnessed when we went on the field.
There was a projection from Professor Smart,
yes,
about a possible runoff.
Yes, in fact, that is another thing. But then you see, when we get to the regions, there are some regions that pulls higher and some regions that actually pulls lower. I know this time the political parties actually did so much in terms of there was the intensified, and they actually invested so much into the area of research that I'm aware that they both know that yes, this election is going to be very tight, and then the numbers too. So the possible runoff for me, looking at how expensive it is,
yes,
I wish we just go one touch.
Yes.
But then in case it happens, I mean, it's democracy and it's very expensive, we would also go by that.
Okay.
But I think for now, I pray that I mean, the numbers are much better even than the previous elections.
All right. So far we've seen, as Ghana tradition continues, yes, NDC, NPP are the reigning champions in these results.
Yes,
the Baumia party is a leading party which is seeking to break the 8,
yes,
and to continue with NPP's parliament. Our veteran in the person of John Dramani Mahama is seeking a comeback to reset the economy. I think these people have something for the country again.
Exactly.
Yes, and although there have been some number of independent candidates on the ballot sheets, yes, it's not making so much difference.
In fact, see, with the results we have currently, you can see clearly. You can see clearly. Some are even getting 0.
Yes.
And you see, the new polo, I mean the word, where the two parties, new politics or something, okay, where the two parties are. The other time I sat on the show and to say that, you see, we haven't gotten to a stage where the people have accepted or will accept the third force.
Okay.
We haven't gotten there. Even the developed countries have not gotten there. They still do not accept it. Where the NDC, I mean, when you go to US, there are two parties which is reigning. No matter what you do, it is these two parties. So, but then it is democracy we are actually experiencing. We have open chance for who has the might to get involved into whatever we are doing. And then they are to share their ideas and also contest the election. But then this shows that, yes, the two parties are still domineering in our politics, and nothing is stopping them. Was seeing the votes were almost all, excuse me to say, the supposed game changers or the
11 additional or 10 additional parties.
When you say
all
when you say 10, of course,
okay,
you see they are not accepting it, but okay, it's a fact, because the politics we do here goes with tradition, and people have to accept the tradition, or it has to go through process of verification where both parties have gone through, and they appreciate the dynamics in this politics we are having. But then before these third forces can be able to break through, they must be able to give us much meaning into what they have for the people. And that is what we are actually experiencing currently.
All right, so there are some issues of the economy currently.
Yes.
And during our former president's time, there were issues of corruption, there were issues of doomsaw.
Yes.
And I don't know whether Ghanaians have forgotten all these, and Ghanaians have forgotten currently. The numbers are reflecting that they are for these two people, yes, and not their mindset.
Yes. The truth about politics is that the two parties understand the people, and the people also understand the two political parties, in a sense that they all know that in reality, NPP and NDC cannot bring heaven to earth. But sometimes, what the people appreciate is the policies that have impact in their lives. That is what they are felt. And so if these two parties, they know themselves that they cannot solve all the problem of the people, but then if they are able to, in a certain way, minimize the plight of the people, that alone will give some strive, and then they are able to do that. So at the end of the day, the NDC, NPP are there, and they will be there for a very long time. And in fact, give me the next 10 years, the same pattern of results will come. And it is both parties that are definitely going to switch, because they know the people and the people also know them. So in that aspect, people will talk about economy, people will talk about jobs, people will talk about unemployment, people will talk about whatever policies. But at the end of the day, when these two parties are able to give them some bit of relief in terms of policy, and that is what I always say, if you're a political party, you see, no government will come to say, I'm giving you money into your pockets. Nobody will do that. But then when there are policies that at least brings down the plight of the people, or is able to at least minimize that hardship, that alone will give the people trust to give you more opportunities to serve them. And so what I can say is, in fact, the two political parties would always dominate until the other parties give reasons enough, compelling ones, to convince the Ghanaian people that yes, these two parties have dominated, but this is what we stand for and this is what we have to offer, which is beyond what they have tried and tested. Until then, we are going to have this, two in the country.
All right, so you mentioned minimizing hardship, interviews with some Ghanaian residents who are still speaking to the senior high school, which is free, and I think they still like the policy. But I want to ask, do you think this free senior high school is minimizing some hardship of Ghanaians?
But the truth is, free senior high school is a very good policy, and it's a policy that, no matter what politics you do against it, it has come to stay. So it's about time both parties accept it, and they accept it, because now looking at all that both parties are actually telling us, they are letting us know that they all believe in it. President Mahama have been on various platforms to say the free education was a project he started, where they started progressively, according to him. And there are other also ways where he has said that people are saying he's going to, and for that matter, it is not true, it's propaganda against him, and he's going to do other things to improve it. This shows that both political parties understand the score that, you see, they cannot solve every problem, but solve the problem, which is education, where they are supposed to give the people, is something that we are supposed to all go into and invest. And me, for instance, I believe so much in that policy because I have seen the transformation it has had in people. At first, look at what our streets were flooded with young people after school. Now we can all see that at least those who are selling in the bus stops and all those things, they have reduced, which means we will all accept that it is a good policy and it has impacted so many people. But then the thing is that we should also accept the fact that there may be some challenges, which I know the government said several times, and probably looking at all the policies in terms of infrastructure that they have brought in terms of putting together structures to bounce back onto the normal track. It means there's some kind of admission and then some kind of solution being put in place to maintain that policy, which means see that we all accept. So if we have such policy, what I would say is that we just voted. If NDC comes, if NPP comes, we have an obligation to maintain that policy and make it better. Because at the end of the day, when we were not having free education, the monies that we were investing now in free education, where was the money? Nobody could pinpoint that this is free, the money that we were using. So if we still have I believe it is good for us to at least see that the money is being invested in our girls, in our children, they are going to school, there may be challenges. Better than giving money to the individual to go and build mansions for their girlfriends, which has been of the political nature in this country. So I believe it's a good education, and I think it's also one of the reasons why, I mean, people are well informed and are being able to comport themselves even in this election season. So it's a good policy that I think both parties now.
All right, so let's talk also about the NDC presidential candidate in the person of former President John Dramani Mahama. You know, he is well known for infrastructure development, and he made mention of practicing hospitals. But when you come to the NPP, you know, we have the Agenda 111, which includes hospitals. So I don't know how he's going to inculcate this Agenda 111 in his project, which is the infrastructure development when it comes to healthcare too.
All right. So the truth is, government or governance is a continuous process, and our politicians, so just sometimes it's unfortunate that we play that kind of politicking that affects the people. Whatever project that was started in during President Kufuor's time must be continued by another president. Project that was started by former president and the late president Jonathan Mills is a project that must be continued. What other project that is equally started by the former president John Mahama is a project that must be continued. The same way, whatever president that has been started by President Kufuor, if it's not done and he's no more there as a president, as the law stipulates that, okay, he has only 2 terms, we must as people come together to know that this is a project that is not for the party. It is Ghana's resources that was invested in making it done. So healthcare is a major concern for us as a people. If we have been able to invest, and in fact, I must say, for the first time, this is the biggest healthcare investment.
The Agenda 111.
Yes, the Agenda 111. And it's a project that I have to commend the NPP for it, because it's actually a project that has a lot has gone into it. And a lot has gone into it because, the investment, which it moves across the entire region, have benefited. And so it is for the people. If you are coming as a president and you say you love the people, and for that reason people went to the polls to give you power, why do you have to let those projects get into the bushes? You get it. So we must be responsible, irrespective of all the political stuff that will. We must appreciate the nature of the people we are working for, and know how some are. In fact, I have the chance to work at the Doma East District. That is, to be precise, I had a chance to work in the district, and in fact, you could see getting to places like Kumejiri, your town, that you never,
yes,
you never had a chance to mention. Yes. I think the other time you tried, where you go to, and some places are very remote areas where they need medical assessment, accessibility. They need medical facilities. Places are there where, when there are places, for instance, there's no referral. You have to go so many hours to be able to reach such places of medical care. So if a government has started a project with taxpayers' money, you have no business as any government to say, I am not the one who started the project, and to get it stopped. If in any event President Mahama or the former president gets to come to power, or whoever is voted to get to power, if President gets to power, it is their responsibility to first think of the people. Yeah. That the project was not meant for those are the Flagstaff or the Jubilee House. It was meant for the vulnerable woman, the vulnerable farmer, the vulnerable cocoa farmer who is toiling for our country to use their cocoa for all that bonds and all that we are suffering. People need to benefit from all that we are getting out of government. And this Agenda 111 is something that I believe it is for the people, because it takes care of the health care of people. So everybody who comes to power must go by it and go, fix it and get it done. I know they commissioned a number of them recently, which, has started working. It's a good project, and I commend the government for it. It's not easy to have that vision. But then, so far as it's a vision must be carried on by successive or successors, which means whoever comes to power must be able to drive. But it's unfortunate that as a country, we do not have national agenda, which is one of the aspects that is impeding our growth as a people. When you go to the States and other developed countries that we most of the times want to isolate, relate with and compare ourselves with, they have national agenda. So, for instance, whatever project that was started by, Biden in U.S., when the next president, Donald Trump, comes, he has no option than to go and continue. And that is how we should be able to govern our country. So I think so far, so good. And then I pray that whoever gets the nod have the power and the strength to be able to continue this project for our people.
All right. So I want us to go back to security issues during election period. You know, the presidential candidates signed a peace pact, and they were supposed to channel the message to their followers. It looks like what we shooting incidents and the chaos we observed at some polling stations, the people took the law into their own hands, started protecting their area, started protecting their electorate, protecting what they think would unfold, like if their party, maybe the party reps or something. But I think the message didn't go down well to the people of these presidential candidates, because if you sign a peace pact, you are the leader, so you are supposed to tell your followers who are reps of the polling stations that please do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, don't take the law into your hands. If you have any issue, there are electoral commission officers at the polling stations. You have to communicate with and know who are supposed to take the law into your hands.
In fact, see, the security of the country is in the hands of the security officers. And no matter who you are and what power you probably possess, you are not in charge of security. And so a civilian has no business to, will gun at the polling centers. A civilian has no business going there to cause chaos or challenge any security officer. It is the responsibility of the security. That is why there is a security deployment, which is part of their mandate. So for me, with all that has happened, some are ignorant. Ignorance, let me put it that way. Some are ignorant because they believe that, okay, I am the party person and then it is my responsibility to use my strength to protect my ballot. But it is not your responsibility. If the police, I believe in the police service, that if police service or Ghana Police Service is given the mandate or is given the chance, they will, do so much. And we have actually come to what they have been able to do, in all these years. So I would tell, Mr. Kufu Dampare, Dr. Kufu Dampare, that, as Ghana Police, whoever is involved in this perpetration, whoever is involved in this kind of violence must be brought to book.
Yes.
We have gotten to a stage as a country that we do not have to mince words. We must be very specific on what we need to do as a country and what we need not to do. I don't know why a civilian will go up there, or a security person will go out there to brutalize a civilian, and then a civilian will go there to misbehave in the name of me protecting my ballot. Are you a security officer? This is unacceptable. This is indiscipline, and we must. The security must, and whoever needs to be prosecuted must be done that.
All right. So, looking at this election, there are some key issues that the voters we spoke about this some time ago, and there are key things people mention, such as the high inflation rate, the exchange rate, jobs especially, then of course the education, but people are praising the free senior high schools. People are also asking for good or better roads, and people are also asking for some sort of reduction in the healthcare system, so we can enjoy some sort of benefits. I want you to pick some top issues you've thought of or you think can really influence the voter, because people are suffering in the country. When you speak to people, they say they are voting in their packets and not what people say to influence them actually. So there are issues, but I think we have to the issues. There are voting patterns, there are history in voting when it comes to some regions. We know there are issues in the country, but people don't care, like, because this is my region and this is what we go for, I think let me close my eyes on what is happening in the economy and just vote for who my region or who we support. But I think we have to deal with the issues at hand. And the issues I mentioned is the high inflation rates, dollar to CD rate, which is very escalating each and every day of our lives. Then we have jobs especially. What are some of the key issues you've gathered so far?
Okay, so with regards to the policies that, during these elections, a lot of people brought up a whole lot of their expectations. People actually, as we have done within these few weeks, we have realized that people are now enlightened. People are well educated because of the media. Because you can see that the media is educating people in all angles, and people are getting informed that now, your vote is not just about somebody giving you 50 Ghana or 100 Ghana or 200 Ghana. People have now come to appreciate that, yes, it is my vote. I might give it out at very low cost, but it will cost me so high. But then, looking at the policies, people, so you can see that this time, when we went out, people actually made sure that they expressed themselves about policies that has impacted on them. And you can all see that, people are able to now resonate with policies that are personal related. That is why people honestly mentioned the policy like the free education thing that, wherever we've gone to. And then we also appreciate that, yes, the reform, which has actually impacted people financially, where, as you're talking about, inflation issue has come, which is actually part of being into economic reforms. And looking at the aspect of the CD dollar depreciation, we've actually witnessed so much. The CD has depreciated to some extent, to the extent that got to a stage it became an alarm where people were actually holding dollars, which affected the currency. But you see, in all this, we can see and we can say that people have now come to realize that amidst everything that we've talked about with regards to the economy, people are now looking at what they have benefited personally. A policy that impacts them possibly or positively. And you can also realize that people were talking about, when you compare the two candidates, where Honorable President Mahama was talking about 24-hour economy, which is also purely based on jobs, to creating opportunity. And you get it, other opportunities for people to also get a kind of multiple opportunities to work, both at night and all that. Where
the 24-hour economy.
The 24-hour, yes. Even though it has come under serious scrutiny, where people have questioned, how viable it is and its sustainability. Or even people have questioned that, okay, if you are giving us 24-hour economy, yes, we understand. But then are we feasible as a country? Is it possible for us to do this because the people or the institutions who are already into it or are needed or needs it to function are already, experiencing it? But then in all, talking about the policy where people are now to express themselves, people now look at impactful ventures than just the political slogans. Now people are looking at policies that they can resonate personally than political. I mean, it got to remember that people were voting based on how handsome somebody is on the ballot. Yes, we've gone through that stages. And I like the fact that education is changing so much. Education in the sense that both the formal and non-formal, where the media space is actually giving us so much a kind of non-formal education, which people are actually enjoying and learning from all kind of topics being discussed in the media space. So we've gone through those spaces where people will be looking at which candidate is so handsome on the ballot and which I mean is so much. I mean, people are able to resonate and talk about how nice he is and all that. Now people are now focusing on what is in my pocket. How am I experiencing the economy? How am I experiencing the policies that are brought by the successive government and the current government? And people are actually voting based on this. So it's a good start as a country that now we are now thinking beyond the party slogans. We are now thinking beyond the party, jargons. Now we are really looking at policies that are impactful to us and a kind of our families. And I think it's a good time and we are growing as a people. And I think that is one of the best developments we are having as a people and a country.
Okay, so we have some results to be declared from the Korle-Klottey constituency, and we will take a feed from there and come back to the studios.
Explain to them first.
So this ballot box in the presidential ballot box, okay. So if some of you realize we took it and placed it here. Oh, we saw it.
Yes.
Powerful. Okay. So I'm putting. So the it's NCP.
You do it
And reporters on the grounds to give us the final result. We can see people are gathered to witness the process. So when it comes to ballots checking, ballots counting, this is the sorting process,
Yes,
right?
Yes. This is actually the sorting.
Okay.
And in fact, after the ballot process, I mean, the election process have gone to an end, which, I mean, all agents were all involved, the police were all involved, and then in terms of, I mean, we continue or we are done with, casting
of the votes.
The vote. Now, the two parties, or let me say, the representatives of all the parties who are the agents will now gather, and then there will be a kind of an angle where a table will be put on, where just like we see, where they put all the ballot on it, and then now we pick the ballot and then we position it at each candidate's position. So that is where they do the sorting. They do the sorting where you look at maybe the presidential candidates, their ballot will be first opened, and then most of the times they open it and then they do all the sorting. So candidate and each position. So they do each candidate and then they sort them at different spaces, and then when they are done, they look at during the sorting. What they do is that they look at rejected ballots and then the valid ballot cast, and then we look at a ballot that are spot ballots are the ballot that were not, they were not well featured. They were not well casted, and so that is, and then they are the sports, and then we have rejected. The rejected ones ballots most of the times had issues with it. It cannot be counted as part. It is invalid, so you take that out. So after this process, that is where now they will now, if it is presidential, so if it is, let me put it this way, the presidential.
So they are starting with the presidential first?
Yes, possibly. I'm sure it's supposed to be at the parliamentary.
This parliamentary, because
so
it looks
that's the
small.
parliamentary. So they do the parliamentary, they sort out all of, and then at the end of the day, they are able to now count all that they have sorted. And so they sort this out. So these candidates, one will be here, and then they sort them, and then the other candidates also will be elsewhere, and then the spot ballots will also be somewhere else. So that is count each one to determine how many ballots the candidate got, and then the other aspect, when they are done with all the candidates, then they are able to count the spot ballot, and then they also record that. So you put together the votes and the spot rejected, you get a total cast. It's actually happening. So I always say this is very transparent aspect of our voting. Was if as a political candidate or as a political party, it is your responsibility at this stage to get a very serious people who can do the counting for you. You get it. At this stage, to get serious people who will be able to be, who will be strong in mind to be able to follow every process. Because if you don't do that and something goes wrong here, and at the end of the day you are done and you do the signing, where you sign the pink sheet, at the end of the day, it's...
These are the electoral officials doing the sorting.
Yeah, of course.
It's not the representatives from...
they are mandated to, at this page, they are in charge. That is why we have a presiding officer. It is the presiding officer's, responsibility to manage the entire electoral process there. And so when you get here, there are other people who support. These are all election officers who are mandated to be able to support the presiding officers to do the sorting. But they do that under the monitoring of both political party agents. So there is political party agents here. There's observers, election observers, where the CODEO and other international observers are also there. And then there are police also here. So they all monitor the process to understand that nobody have any issue. And at this stage, even after counting, and if somebody is not clear about, the counting again, you have an opportunity to do a 2 or second recount. If not that, or if that is still not accepted, you have to.
This person is keenly monitoring the process.
This is the definition of elections are won at the polling station. If you miss this space, when you go to court, the court, so far as your officer signed to verify the figures, you are done. There's nothing that can be done again, because it's an evidence that you've accepted that ballot. And so that is the process it is. So you only have to be keen and then have an eagle eye. And then, you get it. So it's a very wonderful experience, and then, process. That
so I think someone confused the presidential ballot paper in the parliamentary.
Of course. So all those processes, in terms of if a parliamentary ballot goes to mix with presidential, and most of the time this actually happens during. So when you go there, you realize that there's a box when you vote for presidential, and there's a box when you vote for parliamentary. And in this case, if you vote for, some people actually vote for parliamentary and they put their ballot into the presidential. You get it, the presidential.
But they will take
box.
it back
and
to
during the sorting, that is the purpose of the sorting.
Okay.
So that they can be able to sort out these ballots into the rightful space to be counted.
Okay.
Of course, because of course, if somebody picked a form for presidential and his ballot is ended up in the parliamentary, you cannot actually include that there. You still have to take it to the original position. So that is how our democracy have grown up to. So I think as a people, I can say Ghana, we are growing in democracy, in sharing our opinion through polls and other stuff. This is a wonderful process. And so this is a process that you cannot afford to, sleep over it. You get it?
Even if you are tired.
Of course, you would. So you don't send tired people there. So if you're a political party and here you send tired people here, it's it's a choice and you face the consequences. Okay. Yes.
I think the number of observers there outside the perimeters of the barricaded place, I think are less. Around this time, I think the polls ended at 5.
5, yes.
And it's 7:40,
yes.
Almost 3 hours.
Yes.
And they are now doing their sorting.
Yes.
So people might not have the chance to be there to observe this process.
But in fact, during the sorting period, mostly it is the officers who are much involved and the agent. So they mostly come around to do the sorting and make sure, ballots that are not rightly thumb-printed or ballots that probably were printed and were faded and were,
I think this is a sports ballot.
Possibly. So
yes.
Before they can make it that it is sports ballot, and it must be enough, there must be enough evidence, and both parties or all parties must agree to it. Okay. But sometimes, there are rules involved in all these elections. So if there are rules, and if the rules are not gone by, accordingly, sometimes there are issues. So both parties.
We can see a parent with a baby there just to observe the process.
Of course. And I said this is a place, as process. So when they are done in this space, now they will open up and then we'll start counting one by one for the entire people around. Even the person who is very far can still see that the ballot is being counted and can equally follow or count. And this is the time where you hear people counting 1, 2, continuously, just to let people know that, they are equally involved in also, the counting process. This
one is actively involved in the process.
It is good. It is good. If we have people who are serious like this, and I'll be able to follow the process keenly, and then, whatever comes, I'm sure they are all going to accept the results, because you've all been involved in this whole process and then seen how transparent it is. So it is not easy for someone to just, rig an election. Before an election will be rigged, it means the entire team have connived to make it done that way.
Okay.
Because the process follows where it is mostly creation of, the entire people who are involved. Because there is, a kind of a party agent involved, and then there are also people involved in all these processes, where security and then all the EC officers. So before an election is rigged, and then we was looking at where they are now, I'm not sure there's anybody who could also go back to carry a ballot, a thumb-printed ballot, to say he's coming to mix with it. Okay. It's impossible.
All right, let's take a listen at the process of counting.
All right.
Sorry, forgive me. Parliamentary, please. Forgive me. Parliamentary, 4. Okay, 4. Okay. So I'll start with the New Patriotic Party. Okay. All right. So we have for parliamentary election, okay, ballots. Are you there? Yeah. For APP, okay. 1, Two. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 72. 73. 74. 75. 76. 77. 78. 79. 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. 86. 87. 88. 89. 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102. Are we there? Are we here? 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, and 168. So we have 168 for the MPP candidate for the parliamentary. So we can start. So we move to the NDC parliamentary candidate. That's honorable Nato. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, check it too. 6. Check what I do, please. Check what I do. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 35. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 50. 51. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 70. 71. 72. 73. 74. Okay, what is okay? It's less. 74. 75. 76. 7 7 7 8 7 9 80 80 8 1 8 2 8 3 8 4 8 5 8 6 8 7 8 8 8 9 90 90 9 1 9 2 9 3 9 4 9 5 9 6 9 7 9 8 9 9 100 100 101 101 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 120 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 138 138 140 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 150 151 151 153 155 156 157 158 159 160 161 162 163 164 165 166 167 168 69 170 170 171 172 173 174 175 176 177 178 179 180 180 181 182 183 184 185 186 187 189 190 190 191 192 193 194 195 196 197 198 199 200 200 201 202 204 205 206 207 208 209 210 210 211 212 213 214 215 216 217 218 219 220 220 221 2 223 224 225 226 227 228 229 230 230. 230. 31. 232. 233. 234. 235. 236. 237. 238. 239. 240. 240. 241. 242. 243. 244. 245. 246. 247. 248. 249. 250. 251. 252. 253. 254. 255. 256. 257. 258. It's good. It's good. 259. 260. 260. 261. 262. 263. 264. 265. 266. 7. 268. Are you there? 269. Then 270. That's 270. 271. Finally, 272.
we are here at the Kwale Clote constituency, specifically here at the police, Osu Police Barracks 1, and electoral is Osudoku South. And as you can see from the background here for this police station, the sitting MP remains Zeneta here, and she had 272 votes for the parliamentary votes counted, and the NPP, who as she was contested by Valentino Nimote, also had 168 votes. So clearly the background tells the excitement on the part of the NDC, and of course Kwale Clote is noted to be of the National Democratic Congress. And for the presidential, we had from records 7 candidates standing for the presidential at this particular polling station. We have the NDC, NPP, the New Force, we had the B, we had independent candidate Alan Cash, we had the CPP and the GCPP. Respectively, the NDC for presidential votes counted was 317, and for NPP we had 115. For New Force 5, Boom had 1, and Alan Cash had 2 votes, CPP 1, and GCPP also had 1. So that is it for this electoral area, Osudoku South. For Clock TV, Ado.
So that's an interesting process we witnessed there in the Kwale Clote constituency, where Dr. Rawlings, the first daughter of the first president in the Fourth Republic, yes, and she is contesting Valentino Ninoy Note, who is for the NPP, and he is seeking a return. Just like our former president, he is seeking a return on the ticket of a parliament NP for the NPP, yes. So we see these come back. I think it's an interesting one.
Very.
Yes, I don't know whether they've done their homework well to come back strongly, but for what we've seen so far, it looks like the people are for Senator Rawlings.
At that
particular polling station, yes.
In fact, there's a whole lot of dynamics in these elections. I mean, some comebacks will be successful and some will fail. But then one thing is certain: there are traditional issues that if you are a member of parliament and you perform well, and people, let me say, your energy resonates with the people, of course, the people will actually give you another mandate.
And you saw that jubilation there.
Of course, you can see some kind of joy and zeal among the people. The energy is so positive, and I think that is how it is there. But then, with regards to their contest, you can see the constituency is a place that may go with whoever, I mean, they are able to, I mean, resonate easily with. You can see that since Senator Rawlings came, in an instance or so many times that the NPP would want to, I mean, demote her, but then I don't know if her father gave her some kind of granting before, because you can see that, I mean, the people love her, and she's actually someone. If you follow up a bit, you realize she has showed them so much care about the people. When there is a flood at places that affect her people, she gets so much involved, and you can see her moving all up and down and fighting for her people. And I believe probably these places or in this very polling station are for her. So let's see, this is a polling station of one out of many that is yet to come. But then you can see the margin. I mean, the margin is some kind of, I mean, what's the difference?
Almost, I think it's half, almost half, yes. Okay. Almost 50% of what she got is, what the other candidates
Yes.
get.
So, in fact, I mean, so looking at the results, NPP candidate Ninoy, in fact, Ninoy has actually, I mean, done so much in the constituency where, even though he hasn't been conferred, but because his government is in power, he's been able to push so much projects through the district assembly and all that for the people to appreciate what he has. But then, unfortunately, definitely, some places he might win, and some places he will equally lose. But then he should focus on bridging the gap, because looking at it, I mean, he got in this polling station Osudoku 168.
Yeah.
That is, NPP got 168 votes, and then the NDC 272 votes. It means there's a lot to be done in that very polling station.
Yes.
And then, I mean, he should also work hard in other polling stations. And of course, whilst he's working hard to get other ballots in other polling stations, Senator will equally be appreciating somewhere.
Yes,
but then let's see how it goes after the whole counting.
Yes, so we have some early jubilation in the Ododo constituency. We would want to watch that.
Hey, really?
This is so early, but let's watch what happened. Those are people, I think, from the NDC, but majority of these people are the youth. The young people, I think they are less than 18, but I think they are jubilated for their parents.
In fact, this actually happens. I mean, sometimes when we're young, as young people, we got involved in politics when we actually did not know what really entails in that game. But then you realize that, I mean, this is actually not so surprising. I mean, some places, definitely they will, they will be able to get the nod, because it's been an NDC seat for a very long time. And you know, NDC does so well in the Greater Accra region. Yeah. This is because, I mean, if you look at the results in terms of historical trend, you realize that NDC is able to, I mean, do so well in the coastal areas. And then you also appreciate that anytime NDC so much appreciate, and especially when the vote is between 80,000 to 100,000 plus. Well, if you look at the two very elections that we've experienced, from both 2008 to 2012 to 2016 and up to 2020, NDC, I mean, from the 20, NDC has actually won a Greater Accra region. And anytime they win Greater Accra region, and they are able to win massively beyond the votes of, let me say, 80,000 and 115,000, it means NDC is going to pick it. But then one thing is that if NDC is not able to win massively in Greater Accra, it means they are shaking. And,
massively, like 80%.
That is another.
Yes, so we have Clementia Bankwe on standby to provide us with some provisional results. Hello, Clement, what do you have for us?
We have the provisional results from some of the constituencies and also the polling stations. As we know, over 18 million voters casted their votes, to cast their votes at 40,648 polling stations. And out of this, we are speaking about Ododo constituency. Let me give you a little of Ododo constituency results. That's police station Jamestown and Chekot. In terms, yes, provisional results. Presidential, NDC had 114, NDC 114, NPP 74, CPP 1. Parliamentary, NPP had 70, CPP 3, NDC 115, NDC 115. Let's go to Gamada Police Station, also at Ododo constituency. Provisional results, presidential, NDC 123, NDC 123.
All right, so we'll take over from Clement and speak a bit about some of the presidential candidates whose numbers were quite, I don't know, but I think they did so much when it comes to the rally and campaigning, but we weren't seeing those in the figures. Especially, we were hoping. Why are you laughing? I've not mentioned names yet, you're laughing. All right, so when we look at Cheddar, when you compare Cheddar to Alan Shermanton, you can see Cheddar is doing better polling stations than Alan Shermanton.
You see, I have said this many times, that the politics that we are involved must, we must, all players must know the strategy by which it is done. You must, you see, message.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with this discussion.
All right, thank you. All right.
So there's some confusion going on there in the Iowa West Wogon constituency. We are hoping to get updates on that, and we'll get with more information. For now, we have Clement still on with some figures. Clement, please carry on.
Okay, B. So as I said earlier, we have over 18 million voters who are expected to cast their votes at 40,648 polling stations today. And we know there's 13 candidates in all for presidential, but in terms of parliamentary, we have 101 individuals who are contesting for 276 seats in parliament. Yeah, so we are going to the Upper West region, specifically West Central constituency and polling station Ahmadiyya Day Nursery polling station. NPP, in terms of presidential, NPP had 91 votes, NPP 91, NDC 283, NDC 283, and Nana Kwame Bediako 1, Nana Kwame Bediako 1, spot ballot 4, total valid vote cast, that is 379. Yeah, so as we're discussing about the Odio, let me give you a little provisional result from the Odio constituency. Odio constituency, Jamestown Manche Court, that's polling station, presidential, NDC 114, NDC 114, NPP 74, NPP 74, CPP 1, CPP 1, country, NPP 70, 70, CPP 3, CPP 3, NDC 115, NDC 115. Total vote cast is 189. Same at Odudodio constituency. By this time around, we are going to polling station, Gamada polling station at Odudodio constituency. Presidential, NDC 123, NDC 123, NPP 17, NPP 17, Movement for Change 1, Movement for Change 1, rejected 7, rejected 7. In terms of parliamentary, NPP 23, NPP 23, NDC 123, NDC 123, PPP 1, PPP 1, total votes 293, 293. So last in Odudodio constituency, we have that the City Engineers 3A polling station, City Engineers 3A polling station, presidential, NDC 208, NDC 208, NPP 55, NPP 55, CPP 1, GUM 1, TNF 4, parliamentary, NPP 64, NPP 64, PPP 2, PPP 2, NDC 201, NDC 201. So same Odudodio City Engineering 3B polling station, City Engineer 3B polling station. Presidential, NDC 191, NDC 191, NPP 61, NPP 61, CPP 2, CPP 2, New Force 4, New Force 4, NDP 1, NDP 1, parliamentary, NPP 65, NPP 65, NDC 195, NDC 195, total votes cast 266, 266, rejected ballots 7, and rejected parliamentary ballots is 0. So these are the provisional results from Odudodio constituency. But let's get to Lojokuku constituency, of which early this morning we said it's a constituency that people must take a critical look at, because history tells us that every 4 years they change a member of parliament. So Lojokuku constituency, specifically at Old Teshi Library A polling station, Old Teshi Library A polling station, provisional results, presidential, NPP 134, NPP 134, NDC 244, NDC 244, Bediako 3, Bediako 3, rejected, rejected 7, total votes cast 388, 388. Sorry. Old Library B, same constituency. Presidential, NPP 123. NPP 123. NDC 267. 267. NDC 1. 1. Bedia 1 and Alan also getting 1 vote from that very polling station. We have the last one also from Lojokuku constituency, and this time around is at the Old Teshi Library. Okay, so Old Teshi Library Center B, Old Teshi Library Center B, Old Teshi Library Center B, and over there we have NPP 123, NPP 123, NDC 267, NDC 267. Moving to the next polling station, also as Lojokuku constituency, we have Teshi Salam A polling station. Teshi Salam A polling station. Presidential, NPP 117, NPP 17, NDC 219, NDC 219, Alan 1, rejected 10, rejected 10, total votes 348, total votes 348. In terms of parliamentary B, so there is something happening in terms of parliamentary. NPP had 145, NPP 145, NDC 198, NDC 198. So moving to Teshi Salam Center B, Teshi Salam Center B polling station. Presidential, NPP 101, NPP 101, NDC 247, NDC 247. And we have NDP getting 1 vote, and rejected ballots is 11. Total votes 365. 365. Bilam give you the parliamentary also there. In terms of parliamentary, NPP had 139 votes. 139 votes, NPP. 216, sorry. NDC 216. Rejected 9. And CPP had 1 vote. So these are the provisional results from Lojokuku constituency. Actually, we have a few here also from Asewase, that is Honorable Mubarak Muntaka's constituency in the Ashanti region. It's a constituency that we know it has been won by NDC over the years. So this one we want to see if really it's going to change or not. So let me get a provisional result from Central Mosque New Zongo 2 polling center. Central Mosque New Zongo 2 polling center. Provisional results. Presidential, NPP 67, NPP 67, NDC 200, NDC 200. And we have Alan Kojo Chermanton getting 1 vote. Alan Chermanton 1. Nana Kwame Bediakon 2. Nana Kwame Bediakon 2. Total valid ballot is 406. 406. And vote cast is 272. 272. So these are the few results we have from our constituency, but we will be going to the western region in no time. And in western region, I've gotten a result for a particular constituency. That is our Wasa East constituency. It's also another constituency that's it's must-watch constituency, because the NPP parliamentary candidate is the current deputy CEO for CODA, that is the Coastal Development Authority, in the person of Honorable Mona. And the incumbent MP has won that seat since 2012, after the creation of the new constituency. And he was the former deputy minister for roads and highways. So let's... NDC, yes, on the ticket of the NDC. So from the Wasa East constituency in the western region, Wasa East constituency in the western region, Adasi polling station 1, Adasi polling station 1, parliamentary, NPP 95, NPP 95, NDC 145, NDC 145, rejected 4, rejected 4, total vote cast 244, total vote cast 244. In terms of presidential, NPP 84, sorry, NPP 84, NDC 144, NDC 144, and the other candidates managed to get 8 votes out of that. Rejected 7, rejected 7. So the same Adasi polling station 2, Adasi Police Station 2, Parliamentary, NPP 74, NPP 74, NDC 161, NDC 161, rejected 2, total votes cast 237, total votes cast 237. In terms of presidential, NPP 55, NPP 55, NDC 167, NDC 167, and Nana Kwame Bediako getting 1 vote, rejected is 11. Total votes cast there is 238, 238. In the same constituency, we have the Asatuase polling station, Asatuase polling station, Parliamentary, NPP 162, NPP 162, NDC 209, NDC 209, rejected 2, total votes cast 373, total votes cast 373. In terms of presidential, NPP 135, NPP 5, NDC 215, NDC 215, and other candidates getting 11 votes, rejected is 14. Rejected is 14. We are going to Hemanso polling station, also in the same constituency. Hemanso, Parliamentary, NPP 156, NPP 156, NDC 191, NDC 191, rejected 1. Total votes cast 348, 348. In terms of presidential, NPP 133, NPP 133, NDC 197, NDC 197, other parties getting 7, and total votes cast here is 315. Let me give you the few results also in the same constituency from polling station. So we have the Edukron polling station also in the same Wasa East constituency. Parliamentary, NDC 153, NDC 153, NPP 61, PP 61, presidential, NDC 141, 146, 146, NPP 55, NPP 55, going into Ababoso Primary A, Ababoso Primary, that's a polling station. In terms of parliamentary, NPP 109, NPP 109, NDC 155, NDC 155, presidential, NPP 99, NPP 99, NDC 145, NDC 145, and the Ababoso B. NPP, we have all the presidential, it's left with the parliamentary, because the EC releases a communique that they will be counting the presidential ballot before the parliamentary ballot. Because of the sake of issues surrounding the presidential ballot, you know, there's a lot of tension in the atmosphere. So we just have all the presidential results of Ababoso B. NPP 121, NPP 121, NDC 131. NDC 131. So these are the few provisional results we've gathered so far from the decks of poll watch.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have a discussion. welcome back. Those are some provisional results from some polling stations. We are hoping to get you more figures so you also do your tabulations. We were talking about some independent candidates and some of the figures they are having, which are alarming, because I think when these people are on the tickets of some major political parties, they would have done better. For instance, Alan Kojo Chairman, I think the figures I'm seeing is less than that of Bediako. What do you have to say? I'm interested.
This is actually anticipated, or let me say, it's expected, because where we have gotten to as a country, I have told you several times that the people are beginning to be well informed. They deal much with policy is part of their consideration, and the political tradition is a major aspect, because a kind of individual where the people have not tested you, and probably you have not been able to convince the people enough with either policy and then on the ticket or vehicle in which by which you are actually vying, they do not actually trust you. And records have actually shown people were on the thought came years back. I mean, you see, when it comes to political rallies, political rallies are easier to organize. I mean, you can bus people, you can, get a lot of people, to attend your rallies. But then, you can equally have the chance to speak on all media if you have the resources. But then, the people must be able to accept your message.
All right, so we have Joseph from the Volta region on the line. We want to go and pick him and continue our conversation. Right. Hello, Joseph.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, please go ahead with your results.
Okay. I have a result here. Yeah, the first one is for a TDA presidential NPP 21, GCPP 1, GSP 0, GUN 0, LPG 0, NDP 0, CPP 0, NDC 236, APT 0, independent candidate KK 0, and independent candidate GTBA 0, independent candidate NKB 0, independent candidate AJKK 0. That is for presidential. And now parliamentary. NPP 23, LPG 2, NDP 3, NDC 231. Now let's go to CEP Primary School 2, Presidential, NPP 36, GCP 0, 0, GUM 1, LPG 0, NDP 0, C 0, NDC 321, APC 0, independent candidate KK 0, Independent candidate GCPA 0. Independent candidate NKP 1. Independent candidate AKK 3. And now parliamentary NPP 38. LPG 1. P 0. NDC 229. And now let me use primary school 1. MPP 41. GCPP 2. GFP 0. GUM 0. LPG 1. NDP 1. CPP 0. NDC 344. APC 1. Independent candidate KK 0. Independent candidate GTBA 0. Independent 1. Independent candidate AJKK 2. And now parliamentary NPP 41. LPG 2. NDP 2. NDC 355. And now let's go to key religious square 1. NPP 16. GCPP 0. GFP 0. GUM 0. LPG 0. NDP 1. CPP 1. NDP 2. AC 1. Independent candidate 0. Independent candidate GTBA 0. Independent candidate NKB 0. Independent candidate AJKK 2. And now parliamentary NPP 17. LPG 1. NDP 3. NDC 285. And now let's go to Eki Market Square 2. NPP 29. GCPP 0. GFP 0. 0. LPG NTP 0. CPP 1. NDC 282. APC 2. Independent candidate KK 0. Independent candidate GTBA 0. Independent candidate NKP 2. Independent candidate AJKK 2. And now parliamentary NPP 29. LPG 2. NDP 1. NDC 200. So far, these are the results I brought from 520 North constituency.
All right, thank you so much for the updates there. We'll
You
get
are
back
most
to
welcome.
you to give us more within the constituencies.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, so we were talking about some of the presidential candidates and their affiliation as independent candidates. We think when they are better off when they are with the major parties than they've been separated from them. For instance, I made an instance or mentioned Alan Kojo Chairmanton, and I made reference to Asari Bediaku, who is the first time in this political game, but he is saying some figures than Kojo Chairmanton.
Wow. So comparing Alan Chematin, he is a candidate who is well known. I mean, he's been in politics for so many years. He's been known as a member of the NPP. And I mean, he has actually served in President Kufuor's era, and then currently also had a chance to, I mean, I think he, per records, he is the longest serving trade minister. I mean, so that record is there. But then the whole thing is that, you see, the Ghanaian people, it is not just easy to convince them. Irrespective of what perception people might have about the electorate, they most of the times know what they want. It might be sometimes at a point, yes, it's a choice that they will make, and then the choice sometimes might not go the way probably they anticipate. But then, when it comes to this independent presidential and presidential aspirant, and people who goes, on the sole ticket, there's some kind of sharpness in terms of way of how. For instance, when you look at the aspect of Alan Chematin, they were in the NPP in terms of things he wasn't happy with, and based on that, he bowed out. But then, being a member, or let me say, playing a key role in NPP does not mean the people or the Ghanaian people want you to be the president. And probably having so much experience in government and in politics doesn't make the people choose you as a president. And so you can see that all the things that actually happened gave him some kind of bad press. People felt, I mean, he is a self-centered man. He wants to, apart from he himself wanting to be a president at all costs, it means nobody will have to be the president. So it actually gave him some kind of bad press. But then he actually brought some kind of good policies in terms of the trade, and then to revitalize the economy. But with that, Alan Chematin, I mean, his message didn't resonate so much with the people. Well, when there is going to be a kind of change, you feel it. And when people want you, and as a president, sometimes there's a lot of atmosphere that actually makes it so glaring. But then Alan didn't really feel that. But then you can see that Chada actually had that kind of youthfulness, and he targeted. Chada actually targeted the young people where he visited, mostly at the institutions, I mean youth at the institutions level, and then wherever there are youth, you could see they chanting so much, and then I mean he had that vibe with them. But then when it comes to election in Ghana, dynamics is
right. So let's speak quickly with our northern regional correspondent. Okay. Yeah, Miriam.
Yes.
Mariam, how are you doing?
Fine.
Okay, so you have some figures there for us. What have you gathered so far?
Okay, right now, normally there is a polling station in Bukuko Central must be. As I'm not talking, counting successfully and smoothly. Both the presidential and the parliamentary. So, for the parliamentary, only about papers, 268, and the youth ballot papers 362. poll ballot is 1. Ballot issued to voters is 371. And persons varied by BV is 373. So when you come to the president results,
Mariam, can you increase your volume a bit for us to get the figures right?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
It's better.
It's better. So when it comes to the presidential, the unused ballot vote is 609.
Sorry, we are getting a feedback.
And the ballot.
Please position yourself well. We are getting a feedback from your end.
The ballot issues was 609. And the ballot used is 375. And poll ballot.
Start all over again. Sorry.
The presidential unused ballot 609. And ballot was 375. The poll ballot is 2. Ballot issued to voters is 373. And the person varied by DVD is 373. Are you okay?
Please go ahead with the presidential.
Oh, okay. So the presidential is 7. NDC is 285. Rejected vote 9. Other cast 1. Variable vote is 373. That's the presidential. And for the parliamentary, NDC is 92. NC 274. Others are 161. Independent 1. This is
Okay, which constituency or polling station are you reporting from? Mariam,
yes.
Please, which polling station and constituency are you reporting from?
The constituency is Tamale South constituency.
Tamale South.
And the polling station is Dundu Kuko Central Mosi.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I'm hoping you get more figures for us, maybe subsequently. Thank you so much, and be safe, yeah?
Okay.
Okay. So you were talking about Nana Asari Bediako.
Yes, in fact, so Nana Asari Bediako, that is Cheddar, you could see that got so much involved in the youth, and as a young person, I mean, he's the youngest. I would say he's the youngest aspirant, and he actually resonates so much with the young people. And so you could see that, I mean, he was doing so well, and I mean, all his publicity in terms of his campaign was also targeted at the youth, so I'm not surprised he has put some kind of vote. But then compared to Mantin, I think his handlers probably didn't also help him in terms of how they carried in his branding and all that. I mean, he didn't really sell so much, in my perspective. But in all, it is true. I mean, the results is telling us that Ghanaians still believe in the two parties, and they believe it's only the two parties who can govern. I mean, for them to, get what they expect as in terms of leadership in the country. So far, I think I'm not surprised.
All right. So I asked this before because when you look at the contender of Senator Ninoy, Ninoy stood as an independent candidate in 2016 and he lost.
Yes.
But when he joined the NPP, the figure he had for the polling station, which we watched the video from, was 168, and Senator had 272, which is almost like half of what he got, like Zinato got double. So I think independence gives you a lower number as compared to you joining the bigger political parties.
Yes, it's actually, you see, we as a people, Ghana, we look at the vehicle that is bringing you. If the vehicle that is bringing you make you soul, and I mean, people don't know who is behind you, and I mean, how fair you are going to be. We actually have seen the challenges we have actually had as a country with the kind of hang parliament we have, where, I mean, it's a strictly divided parliament, where independents will eventually have to go and then join
one of the major
parties. And so if you are going to join one of the major parties, which means you have to probably join them now, or you are taken away. But then unless you have personally impacted the community or your constituency so well, before, I believe, they give you the nod.
All right, so when we look at the figures from the voter regional correspondent, we realize the NPP is having some double figures, whilst the NDC is having some triple, and the Volta region. And when you look at what we heard from the northern region, it looks like from that particular polling station, the NDC is leading. And I want to know which particular regions, when NDC wins, there's a likelihood that we'll get President or former President John Mahama as president.
Okay, so the truth is, if you look at the analysis, or if we are to go to the successive trends and the historical data we have, you will realize that NDC's path to presidency is difficult a bit, and then NPP path to parliamentary is a bit also difficult. And in this case, NDC getting parliamentary candidate always, NDC getting parliamentary candidate, in terms of the numbers, is always, so positive for them than getting the presidential. Was you realize that all constituencies that are put to, in terms of the regional balance, have a number of, they lost last elections with over, let me say,
1 million?
That last election, that was almost 500,000 plus.
Okay.
But then the difference is that they lost with seven number. They got a lot of regional. They won in many regions.
For parliament.
For the parliamentary.
Okay.
And even yes, for parliamentary. But then they lost in presidential with the numbers. But whereby and the entire with, let me say, almost two regions.
Okay.
You get it?
That is the Ashanti and
the Eastern. So if they get the numbers there, then if the NPP gets the numbers there, it affects their ballot positively, because they get the PPCs from other places and then add up to. But then when you look at a place like the northern region, the home for NDC, and for many years, it's been difficult for to break through. For that, these are traditional places for traditional regions for these NDC people. When you go to Volta region, it's a traditional place for NDC. So yes, both parties, the strategy they use is to be able to push more, to be able to appreciate their vote in terms of their opponent's strongholds. So when you go to the northern region, if you look at the successive results, you realize that NPP has done so much to be able to appreciate their vote there, even though they know that those regions doesn't belong to them. Just like NDC does in Ashanti region and Eastern region, they appreciate in kind of vote, but then eventually they will lose, but then they will get some votes to be able to help in those regions that they didn't get so much in order to get. So it is not surprise to me that Ashanti northern region NDC is winning, and then Volta region NDC is winning. And the Greater Accra was these the regions are traditional regions for the NDC. But then we have now started. Let us see other regions that will be coming, and it won't be surprised that the numbers we are seeing in Vuta and then a northern region, to be in the opposite way when it gets to NPP's strongholds.
Okay, so I'd wanted to ask whether per projections, NDC will get the 30% they are requesting from the Ashanti region. But before then, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Super Watch, you've been watching a live coverage of the 2024 election. We are wrapping up, so we would want to take our final words from our analyst, astute analyst. Randolph, what do you have to say as you wrap up?
All right.
How have you seen the whole process today?
I think there's been a lot of improvement in democracy, and we must appreciate that as a growing country, let me say a developing country, because African countries, most African countries have not had it the way we have it in terms of, I mean, just imagine, we are done with elections and the entire place is very peaceful. The entire country is peaceful, no chaos. Yes, there may be one or two hitches somewhere, but in totality, you can say, I mean, we have conducted ourselves very well. We've been disciplined. And in fact, kudos to the Electoral Commission. I mean, the process, they have made sure that people, even though we are not done yet with the entire process and the counting, but then you can see that issues that have come are muchly not related directly with the EC. Yeah, it is most of the times the political parties and then the people involved, the third parties who are really make these issues come up. But then the EC have done well in organizing this. The security has also really done well, and I think the transparency and information channeling out, the availability of information has killed so many, that kind of ambiguity, and it is very good for our democracy. And I mean, Ghana being a beacon of Africa and then the gateway of Africa, I mean, it's a definition so that a definition for our development, and it tells that, of course, we are doing well. With regards to we going, we have seen so many things. Now, with everything, by this time, all the parties are in the coalition centers, and all the parties also have their, independent coalition centers that they are independently working on their ballot and their, in terms of their numbers. And I will not be surprised that some people will start making declarations, but it shouldn't be so. Electoral Commission has been mandated to rectify and verify and announce official electoral results. So, I mean, let us all desist from, coming ahead of Electoral Commission. But then, of course, we are in the age where, digital structures have made it possible that, they are able to put themselves together. So obviously, those who are ahead in terms of technology will definitely make some points us in to, do something in terms of alerting the public to let them know that, especially their supporters, that they are winning, but that notwithstanding, I know the final verdict comes from the EC. And that is what we are expecting. And Clock TV is going to bring you that live coverage and for you to enjoy and get all the important information relating to these very elections.
All right, to you out there, you have been a channel of hope for Ghana, and you've done so well even up until this time. We'll come your way again tomorrow. Until then, please stay safe.
Lord, I'm amazed on the face like I'm feeling.